Take a look at the person next to you. Say, God loves you and I love you too. You feel the love and the unity. You lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, I recognize the God in you. You feel the love and the unity. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. Every walk of life. Every creed and color. In kinship we unite. In honor of God and each other. Yeah. You take a look at the person next to you. Say, namaste, I bow to you. And feel the love and the unity. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together.
We come together
In the name of love.
Come on
we
now.
come together.
We 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 come together
In the name of love.
We need to have like a church dance for that, like a we come together. We come together. We come together in the name of love. Woo! I'm officially in remission, folks. Yeah, how about that? But that was kind of tiring, though, I have to say. But that's okay. So welcome, everyone. It's good to have you here in the sanctuary this morning. Good to have you joining us on the Love Stream. So if you're joining us for the first time online, welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living. We're coming to you live from Granada Hills, California, a faith community in the North San Fernando Valley, where we welcome all who practice their beliefs in faith and love. And our musical inspiration today is the master, Jason Goldstein.
Good morning, everybody.
Yeah, so if you're on the chat, send him a little message. He likes that. You can find him in all the places where you download music. And our presider this morning, the mistress of all things animal ministry, Reverend Kathy Lyons. All right. So, join me as I take a deep breath. Whew. Whew. Those Broadway people can do all that and sing. Wow. All right, so taking one more breath and release as we come together for our call to service, which we call Lighting the Flames of Faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Now, fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this morning. So as Reverend Kathy lights the first candle, it's for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for all forms of Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. The fourth candle we light for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. The fifth candle we light for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. The sixth candle we light for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam,
In our hearts, there is one light that shines through our love. We light this flame with faith. We light this flame with faith. We find this light within our own soul. There is one flame, one light within.
So join me, please, as I speak in the first person for everyone here. How grateful I am to be here on this beautiful, glorious spring day. And as I recognize this power, this life, which is the life of God, which is my life and the entire universe life right now, and knowing that God is this abounding love, and I know that love is in my mind, body, and all my affairs, so I just feel love right now, that love is in this very room, expressing through everyone present, and knowing and affirming right now that I feel that love, and I just emanate love and attract love into my life. And so I am so grateful, so deeply grateful for everyone participating in this service. And I release my word to the law. It is done, it is so, and together we say, and so it is. Good morning, everyone. How many have heard, or maybe I should say not heard, the term or affirmation, God is my source? I think everybody's heard it. And I was looking to find the origin of this affirmation or quote, because I like to give credit where it's due. And I couldn't really find any specific person, but it does come from the Bible. There's actually, I'll quote 1 Corinthians 8:6, "Yet for us there is only one God, the Father," or I like to say Spirit, who is the source of all things. So what does this mean? God is my source. It means that we can't be attached to how things come through. They're all from that one source of God. And it doesn't, and especially to do with finances, a lot of times, like I write the affirmation, God is my source. A lot of times I put that on the check that I send every time I get paid to online giving. And it's knowing that even though money comes from different things, God is the only source and supply. It doesn't mean just sitting, living haphazardly, thinking there's this God up there going to throw money down. I mean, we shouldn't ever limit that, but usually for people in their working years, it comes through rendering some service or being in a business. But that source can come through various things. I know throughout my career, I worked for several companies. All came from God, but it came through different companies. The last place I worked was the Los Angeles Unified School District, and I'm still working substitute assignments there. And one of the things, too, this has come up for me because understanding that thing about God being our source, I looked at my investment portfolio in this last month. I didn't like what I saw, and I got caught up in this fear. But that affirmation is relevant, and I remember thinking about this affirmation back in 2008, and we went through this, but here we are, we're all here, we're thriving, and I think about, too, this is so relevant because nobody, I think now, has the same job throughout their career. I remember my parents' generation, my dad came home from World War II, got a job for an insurance company, was there until he was 65. He hated it, though, the last several years. He hated it, but that was the pattern. You didn't change jobs in that era. So I think I remember getting laid off years ago, and that source was from God. It was just from not that company, and then the school district. And I'm thinking, too, a lot about, I've been working substitute assignments for the last 6 years, even though I'm retired, and I'd like to kind of rewire and maybe not work so much, but I still like that income, so I'm being open to other resources of income. And I think that's the idea of not being attached to any one thing, especially with any goal, whether it's a job, relationships, finances, health, to be open and receptive to different ideas. Jesse Jennings says in the Science of Mind magazine that when people talk about praying for money, we're actually praying for ideas, that there's new resources, that infinite intelligence that's going to reveal through us whatever we need to know and do to live a prosperous life. And I'll just close with this quote from Catherine Ponder as an affirmation. I do not depend upon persons or conditions for my prosperity. God is the source of my supply, and it is constantly opening new channels of prosperity to me. I am open and receptive to my highest good now. Have a great day, and so it is.
Just yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone. Susan, the plans they made put an end to you. I walked out this morning and I wrote this song. I just can't remember who to send it to. I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times where I could not find a friend. But I always thought I'd see you again. Look down on me, Jesus. You gotta help me make a stand. You gotta see me through to another day. My body is aching and my time is ahead, and I won't make it through to another day. Yes, I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times where I could not find a friend. But I always thought I'd see you again. Walking my mind to an easy time, my back turned towards the sun. Lord knows when the cold wind blows, it'll turn your head around. Well, there's hours of time on the telephone line to talk about things to come. Sweet dreams and fine machines and pieces on the ground. Yes, I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times where I could not find a friend. But I always thought I'd see you. Yes, I always thought I'd see you. Yes, I always thought I'd see you again.
Thank you, Jason. We have some announcements. First of all, practitioners are available today in the treatment room for a 2-minute tune-up. Raise your hand if you're a practitioner. Yes, so don't hesitate to tap one of us on the shoulder and we will treat for what you desire. Also, if you'd like to know more about our practitioners or contact a licensed practitioner, you can go to CSLGH.org. Today at 1 o'clock, there's a Law of Attraction group, and please contact Emily at joyvibrations at email. That's her email for details. April 16th, 7 p.m., we have the Tibetan Singing Bowls with Wayne Moore. Or not, Wayne McDonald, I'm sorry. Yeah. So, and then Special Blessing Giving Bags project. We are still decorating bags and filling them to hand out to those in the community in need. Please see the table in Sparks Hall to participate. April 28th, 6:30 to 9 o'clock p.m., we have a spiritual mind treatment class with Reverend Nancy and Andrea Rake. See the flyer and sign up sheet in Sparks Hall. There's nothing more powerful than spiritual mind treatment, so I encourage you all to sign up. And on July 19th through July 25th, there's a CSL Teen Summer Camp that will take place in Veronia, Oregon. Early bird registration begins May 1st. Please see flyer located in Sparks Hall. And a reminder, next Sunday, Easter Sunday, we'll have one service at 10:30. And they're going to have the choir, so it should be a fun service. And I'd like to have, is Barbara Cherney here? Or Chloe, come up and pull something out of the gratitude box.
Says, I am grateful for have friends in my life.
Yes, we're all grateful for friends. Thank you, Chloe. There you go. And now let's stand for our Declaration of Principles. We believe in one universal spirit, manifesting through all, natural and incarnated in us. We believe that the universal spirit is personal to and reveals itself through everyone who recognizes its presence. We believe that our faith operates upon a law of mind which automatically manifests in our experience according to that faith. We believe in the unity of all life and in the immortality of the individual soul forever expanding. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the givingness of life to all.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I can see the light, and I'm free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Last time now. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God.
All right. I'm going to tucker myself out up here. All right. How's everybody doing? Good. Yeah, so we have some new faces, at least new to me. If you've been here before, make sure we meet today. So we do have, we have a guest book that you can sign, and we have a place where you can ask for a spiritual mind treatment, there's a little box out there. The gratitude box is out there. There's refreshments over there. So you can hang out and meet some folks afterwards if you choose to. Because we'd love to get to meet you. And for those of you who keep observe the tradition of Passover, of course, that's this week. And today in the Christian calendar is Palm Sunday, where we learn the lesson that they can celebrate you on Sunday and they'll crucify you on Friday. Sometimes life can feel that way, yeah? So one moment it's, I am Spartacus. And then the next, we may find ourselves in the muck and mire. And there's also, I think, a good time to acknowledge that, Judaism and Christianity are very much tied together. There's a lot more Judaism and Christianity than most Christians would like to, I don't know if they like it, they just may not know that it's in there. And for religious scientists, that there's a lot more Christianity in religious science that many religious scientists don't care to know, right? So what we are attempting to do here is to have a new thought, really a new thought about what it means, what Christian theology is about, right? So Christianity, in the way that it's often practiced, is really more about Paulianity, or Paul, who was the great, who passed on these ideas and built all these faith communities, which in the beginning were Jewish, actually, right? And then he got up into what we call Turkey today, Antioch, and he started writing these letters. So without him, really, I don't know that Christianity, as we came to know it, we may never have known about it. It would have been a Jewish sect. So we owe him that. But he also is the one who developed this idea of atonement, and an atonement theology where that there was this blood sacrifice that was needed to make our peace with the divine, to make our peace with God. And Jesus did not teach that. Right? Jesus taught a message of love, of tolerance even, of how to, and all kinds of little lessons that put the responsibility of how to be in the world, right? And not be of the world, but to be in the world and to tend to the log in our own eye rather than judging others about the speck in their own. He also taught us about the power of our word. He taught us that our word has authority and that our Father, our loving Father, right, it's his good pleasure to give us the keys to the kingdom. And so we have this disconnect between this atonement thing that says we owe the divine something and this other aspect that says God is love and only love. And so religious science tries to bring these two things together in this simple way. Not atonement, but at one-ment, right? At one-ment. That Jesus himself said that we are one with the Father, or that we can cultivate a consciousness of knowing our oneness with the divine. But, stuff gets in the way of that. It's called the human condition. And Jason, could you put the air on? It's getting a little... I must be full of the Holy Ghost or something. Because none of this is in my notes even. But I'm a big Jesus guy, just for the record. I love the teachings of Jesus. And to me, he is a teacher. And I spent a lot of time working on my resentments around the atonement aspect. Because the religious doctrine got in the way of my experience of the Holy Spirit as I know it to be, right? And really, it wasn't until I got into a 12-step program where I didn't give myself permission, really, because it felt kind of blasphemous to explore anything but my religion of origin. And then I found my way here. And I loved the idea of not atonement, but at-one-ment. Because I had always tried to reconcile this idea. Even Paul would say over and over again that God is love and only love, right? He taught the message of faith. I think that was Jesus, but faith, hope, and charity. Faith, hope, and love. The greatest of these is love. That the two greatest commandments from Jesus, of course, were to love God with your whole heart, soul, mind, body. I mean, he didn't say all that, right? And then to love your neighbor as yourself. Well, there's a couple things in that, right? First of all, you have to have some love for yourself, at least some respect, maybe even to some gentleness. Maybe stay out of the self-recrimination and judgment. And maybe even to consider that sin is but an error in thought rather than an offense against the divine. My awareness came around this when I became a father, right? And had this awareness that there was really nothing that my son could do that would make me love him less. I even had that experience with stepchildren, right? So it wasn't just a genetic thing. We weren't just tied by DNA, but that something was calling deeper within me to love more fully. That doesn't mean I still didn't have my conditional stuff. But it was an insight. Well, geez, if I can love like this and I'm a human being, then how much more can the divine express this love? In fact, Holmes said this love is so pure that it always says yes, and so it appears to be impersonal because it acts like a law. And so this idea, this notion that Holmes asked the question, and Emerson and others before him asked the question, well, what if God was love and only love? What would the world look like? How would theology shift if God is love and only love? So I'm going to go back to my notes. Last week, we had some fun with the monthly theme of fertilizing our future. We don't need to beat that anymore. But the end of that conversation is whatever concerns or challenges in life we may be facing, whether something dire or simply trying to break out of the routine of the status quo life into our best life, right, to do as Morrison said, to break on through to the other side, right? We're going to have to engage with life consciously with intention and focus, yes? Yes. And as Holmes once wrote, one of the great difficulties in the new order of thought, I thought I had a slide, I guess I don't. Let's go back here. You can look at that. As Holmes once wrote, one of the great difficulties in the new order of thought is that we are likely to engage in too much theory and too little practice. So with our talk title today being Visioning Beyond the Horizon, we are starting a new conversation with ourselves, which starts with, how am I doing really? So God is all there is. That's nice. God is my source. That's great. Does my life reflect that idea, that principle, that belief? Does my faith reflect it? Not from a place of judgment, but just an inventory, in the way that you would take inventory if you were a shopkeeper. You don't get, you don't get annoyed because you're short of Q-tips, right? So you're just taking inventory. So how am I doing really? Is there a practice I can use to shift and lift my life from its current expression into something even greater? So this is a common theme in many Science of Mind classes that are taught here at the center. You know, some teach skills, life skills, in a do-it-yourself kind of format, and they are invaluable in that way. Sometimes we just kind of need a little nudge to get us out of a particular predicament. So grief, loss of a job, frustration of chasing home ownership maybe, hustling to make rent again, dealing with a health diagnosis, working through recovery. These are all aspects of life that can take the wind out of our sails for a while. But consider this, that life predicaments are actually fairly easy to address because they're obvious. Predicaments are fairly easy to address because they're obvious. That doesn't make them less difficult, right? I don't want to minimize the struggle that we sometimes find ourselves in. But at least we know where to put the focus. So we know when we've hit our thumb with a hammer, right? We just need the pain to go away, yeah? So thankfully, these situations are transitory. You know, we move through them sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly, but we move through them just the same. And there's another kind of life predicament that may actually be a bit more challenging to contend with. And that's when we find ourselves in life just kind of treading water. We've kind of been here for a while, no big deals, you know, the revenue is fine, you know, I'm getting along with my neighbors, my spouse, whomever, the kids, right? But there's a complacency maybe. There's no sense of forward movement in it. I think that's a little more difficult. It's like we have an itch that we can't quite get to, a restlessness that seems to pop up from a place much deeper within us. Now, why it has to show up at 3 a.m. when all I really want to do is sleep, I don't know why. I do think that this psychological phenomenon has a spiritual root, however. I think there is a creative longing within us, longing to try something new, to try some new experience of life. But what? What is that? In my years of being in classes and teaching classes, of course, most people are very clear on what they don't want in life. In fact, that list is pretty long. And that's one of the exercises in early classes. What is it you don't want? And this one's as long as your arm, right? And what is it that you do want? And there's 3 or 4 items on it. Most people are very clear on what they don't want. The challenge for most folks is figuring out what they do want in relatively specific ways. Because we all want to be more comfortable, right? It's more than just having more money, right? We all want to be comfortable and maybe have a wee bit more, right? We'd love to have more joy in our life, maybe a little passion even, creative expression. Perhaps what we really want is what Joseph Campbell observed years ago when he said that people say what we're all seeking is a meaning for life. I don't think that's what we're really seeking, he writes. I think what we're really seeking is an experience of being alive so that our life experiences on the purely physical plane will have resonances with our own innermost being and reality, so that we actually feel the rapture of being alive. The rapture, that's quite a word, right? The rapture of being alive. I think that's true. How does that hit you guys? Yeah. So I once heard a story about Christopher Columbus and how he became convinced that the world was round with a pretty simple observation. sitting at the wharf one day, or maybe many days, he noticed that as a ship headed out to sea, at first you could see the whole ship. And then in time, the bottom half of the hull would disappear. And then the hull itself, until finally, all you could see were the flags on the very top of the masthead of the ship. And then in time, even that would disappear. That it would all slip from view as if the ship had fallen off the edge of the world. Columbus, having sailed on this heading himself, knew the world did not fall away as if on a tabletop. So he concluded that the earth must be round and very enormous. Now, this may be difficult to understand in today's world, but remember, it was the late 15th century. We're talking about 1492. There's a lot of stuff we had no idea about yet. We didn't even know there were continents on the other side of the world yet. Many people thought he was crazy. Now, how did he have such an insight? You know, how did Einstein imagine relativity? Right? Or even people figure out quantum physics, which is mostly theoretical. How does that happen? How did early hominids put together how to make fire and to make use of fire? Right? So when did they go from eating raw meat to having a nice steak? I don't know. For that matter, how does anyone go from what we currently know to the next big something else? And how do we identify that something else? So it turns out that whether we are we see the world in a really big way or in a relatively small way, the same process is at work. An insight must be captured. Right? So in writing, the idea is to capture ideas, you know, from over here, over here, over here. It's not even really about figuring out that it all makes sense. That's a different process, right? That's done in editing. The same thing in filming, right? So scenes that are filmed out of sequence for whatever reason, I have no idea. I don't know how to make a film. But I do know that they're filmed out of sequence, that the actors may not even know the continuity in the film. Certainly in the TV show. Like, you know, when are we going to, some character's going to get bumped off. Well, they can't let everybody know that one. I only know this because I live stream now. So an insight must be captured. An insight lies just beyond the horizon of all we currently know. But we must set out on our own ship of intention to discover what that next great yet to be is. You know, wouldn't it be great if we could send someone to the gym and do our ab work for us, right? But it doesn't work that way, does it? Wouldn't it be great if we could send someone out to walk those 2 miles that we've committed, right? It doesn't work that way. We have to do it ourselves. No one else can steer our personal ship of discovery but ourselves. So in the language of the science of mind, we must make time to vision that next great yet to be. Right? First, in our awareness, we must capture it within our awareness. So visioning is an intentional spiritual practice where we explore what the next big thing is for me and for my life. And it's more than a psychological exercise or thought experiment. As people of faith, we are not bound by the confines of realism. Right? Even though the thing that I had to work through most was this idea that this teaching could be too woo-woo, right? And yet I was a very woo-woo guy at the same time. I like science. I've always had an interest in it. My grades never reflected that, but I always had a strong interest in it. So visioning is an intentional practice. Visioning guides us towards a spiritual insight. And so we are accessing that which is ineffable, the Spirit, love, if you will, the attributes, whatever attributes you recognize for what the divine means to you, which may in fact be, Jesus as Lord for many people. It could be the Buddha seen in that same way. But certainly, it's intelligence. That's got to be part of it. Creative intelligence, if you will. That's universal in nature. That's available to everyone, available to you and to me, and we can turn down the AC now. I think I can see some teeth chattering out there. In visioning, we consciously connect with divine mind that is everywhere present at all times. It's always present. Through the visioning practice, we are simply accessing it. It's like we're all individualized modems accessing the internet with all that it has. But even the internet is finite, right? But we're accessing something that is infinite. It is intelligence itself in all of its expressions. So in this way, then, love, which we may think in more ways that erotic, right, or transitory or conditional, it's a universal idea that is intelligent in nature. That this intelligence, through compassion and connection, expresses itself as love in this human plane, either within our own species, or even loving up on a dog, right? Or even a cat. Or a goldfish. Or a pet rock, right? It doesn't really matter what we love, but it does matter that we love. In fact, to that matter, it doesn't matter who we love. What matters is that we love, yeah? So this opens the field up beyond old ways of thinking dogmatically in religion. This idea that we are connecting with the universal spirit. So we're just going to do a little exercise together. We usually do this in class, but I'm just going to invite you all to just close your eyes, to take a deep breath, and just release. So I know some of you are brand new here. I just want to say that you are safe. And if you're not as new, you are safe. This is a safe place. Just allow yourself to focus on the breath. Focus on the breath. Focus on a time when you had an expression of love that you can connect with, that's meaningful. Meaningful to you in some way. So in the way that you consider the Spirit to be for you, uniquely your experience, whatever that is, let's open our heart and open our mind to that experience of the Spirit. We're opening our mind. And we are opening our heart-mind, our modem of heart-mind to the infinite intelligence of the Most High. Take a deep breath there. See if you can access a sense of peace and harmony in this moment. And ask yourself, what is the Spirit's highest vision of itself by means of me, by means of my life? Maria Nemeth would say, if money were no object and success were guaranteed, what is God's highest vision for my life? What is love's highest vision for my life? What is the creative intelligence highest vision for my life? Just sit with that first. Let it resonate for a moment. Stay with the breath. It might be a color. So what is it that we see when we consider God's vision for our life? Is there something that we're feeling? Does it have a scent, a sound? And then if that's available to you, let's ask ourselves, within this vision, what is it that I must let go of? What is it that I must release for this vision to demonstrate itself in our life? Who must I step into being? What must I become? What am I now willing to stop playing small about within my own life and step into the power and authority of a divine idea making itself known in, through, and as my life, in, through, and as me? That is what a spiritual mind treatment or an affirmative prayer, that is what it is. So we recognize our at-one-ment with the living Spirit. We recognize our at-one-ment with the infinite heart of the Most High. And then finally we ask ourselves then, within this vision, is there anything else that I need to know about this expression of life? God's vision for my life. So I invite you to stay with the vibe of this notion. Stay with the vibe of cultivating a vision for your life and mine. Cultivating a vision for spiritual community, whatever that may be. If it is, even for our community, our state, our nation, the universe itself. Resonating like ripples on the pond out of the seat of consciousness within your own heart and mind. You are, in fact, that powerful. That your vision is even now impressing itself upon that infinite aspect of the Most High that is even now saying yes to you as the law of its own being, which is boundless. It is, in fact, the wellspring of all creation. So taking a deep breath, just release that. Put our hands over our heart. Does it feel good? Thank you, Jason.
Smile while your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you'll get by. If you smile though you fear and sorrows, smile maybe tomorrow you'll see the sun come shining through for you. Light up your face with gladness, hide any trace of sadness. Although the tears may be ever so near, that's the time you must keep on trying. Smile, what's the use of crying? You'll find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Light up your face with gladness and hide away any trace of sadness. Although our tears may be ever so near, that's the time that you must keep on trying. Smile, what's the use of crying? Yes, you'll find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Yes, you'll find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile.
That's really good. You know, sometimes I feel like you're putting on a music appreciation class there. Because I don't know what all those modalities that you're moving in and out of, but I know you're doing something complex there. That was pretty amazing. So Jason Goldstein, everybody, let's give him some love.
Thank you.
Yeah. Nice singing, nice playing. All right, so as we prepare for the offering, we have a little offering chant. If you come prepared with a gift today, not necessary, but if you've come prepared, just make your way to the basket. For those of you joining us online, if you would take a moment to go to our PayPal and leave a little something there, it'd be much appreciated.
Spirit gives through me, Spirit receives through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me. Spirit lives and breathes in me. Spirit gives through you. Spirit receives through you. Spirit sees through us. Spirit lives and breathes through us. Spirit lives and breathes through us.
So recognizing that this basket represents both the generous heart of the individual and the receptive heart of this spiritual community. From whatever avenue your good finds your generosity finds its way to our center. That we recognize for the individual, this basket represents that generous heart who knows and knows that they know that God is our source, our substance, our supply. So now we, representing the receptive heart of this spiritual community, we accept these gifts. Again, by whatever avenue they find their way here, through electronic giving, through the mail, through the offering here, that we gratefully receive all of it, knowing that it goes forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless not only this spiritual community, but anyone connected to it in any way. And from this place of gratitude, we extend a blessing upon our community of Granada Hills, our city of Los Angeles, our state of California, our United States of America, all of its churches, temples, mosques, schools, universities, the people who attend them, the people who support them, that we know for our planet as well, that there is a creative intelligence, a universal mind, the infinite heart of the Most High that is expressing in, through, and as all of it. And that to the extent that we know this to be so, we see its demonstration in ways great and small. This lifts our hearts. We feel a sense of power and grace that propel us into ways of spiritual living that raise not only our own life, but the lives of those around us as well. And that's a good thing. And together, let's acknowledge that by saying, and so it is. Amen. Amen. So, I forgot to do that. Let's see if we have any kids in the back there. So there's only one service next week, so if you have friends at the 9 a.m., remind them to come join us, invite them to join us at the 10:30. We will have the choir and a guest speaker. Reverend Mary Lou Shoemaker's coming down from Fresno just for you. So yeah, she lives in the shadow of Yosemite Park, right? I know. That's a sad state of life, isn't it? So, yeah, God's country up there. So she'll be sharing with us. Good. Come on in. What do you have? Pardon me?
How are you guys this morning?
We're good. So, welcome to share whatever.
She doesn't want to share, so
Okay.
I'm sharing. So she drew a person. So just a reflection of those around us. And there's a couple of them. There's this one. And this one. So there's a couple of different drawings, and it's just a reflection of those that we see around us.
Very nice. Thank you. Thank you, Ayana. All right. The other thing is that, we talked about the giving bags. They're actually out on the front corner. So this would be like if you go to the market and you see somebody who's like a regular or at the 7-Eleven or whatever, if you want to give them a little gift bag, just grab one. You don't have to say anything to them if you don't want to. Just give them a little blessing. That's all it is. Our kids and kids group has put this together with their instructors. So, all right, let's give Jason one more round of applause. Thank you all for being here. Happy Easter for next week, and I'll be going to see my grandson. Yes, doing Easter with the family next week.
Okay, so let's just take a breath, breathing in all that loving energy of spirit right now. And as I speak in the first person, I recognize this presence, which is God, which is the abounding source of love, health, wealth, creativity, guidance, direction in every day and every way. And I am one with this Spirit of God of love, health, wealth, creativity, guidance, and direction. So I hereby proclaim that my life, that I am experiencing my life to the fullest with all of these aspects of God, of perfect health, abundant wealth, creative expression, and lots of love. And I am living fully in the present, experiencing the rapture of being alive, that I feel this aliveness within me. So I feel that joy and enthusiasm and gusto for life. And so how grateful I am for this service, for everyone participating, for Reverend Mike, for Jason, for the sound, everybody here present. I just give thanks and rejoice as I release my word to the law, as I let it be so, and together we say, and so it is.
Please join me in singing the peace song. That was meant to be, with God as a power, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take,